Perfect. Let's start off very quickly. Before we go to any new concept, let's revise the already existing ones. We have already finished major, I think, 5 provisions as of now. So we're going to remember 2 more today. So it will be 7 in total. Excuse me. So the first one was, let's smaller one. Let's talk about the interest. What do you call it? Concessional interest rate loan. Can somebody please tell me the provisions for it? How much should be the exemption? How much should be the taxable value?
The taxable value is the rate of interest offered by SBI minus the actual rate of interest being offered by the company, multiplied by the loan.
Perfect. That is absolutely correct. Then let's talk about unfurnished accommodation, please.
So I'll go ahead.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So when it is owned by the company, if it is, if the population is exceeding 25 lakhs, it would be 5% of salary, 15% of salary, sorry. If it is, the population is between 10 to 25 lakhs, it would be 10% of salary. If it is less than 10 lakhs, if the population is less than 10 lakhs, then it would be 7.5% of the salary. And when the accommodation is leased or rented, then the amount of lease rent that needs to that is being paid, or 15% of the salary, whichever is lower.
Perfect. And these amounts that we discussed, is this the exemption amount? Is this the taxable amount? Can you tell?
This is the taxable amount.
Perfect. This is the taxable amount. Absolutely correct. Yeah. Let's move on to our next one, which is our sell of an asset. Sell of an asset to
electronic.
An please, yes.
Electronic goods would be 50% of the value. Motor vehicles would be 20%, and any other items would be 10%. Yes. And the actual value would be that amount multiplied by the original amount minus the depreciation minus the recovered amount after selling.
You said something about that amount multiplied by that amount. There is no multiplication. Whatever you said after that, that was absolutely correct. So actual cost minus depreciation minus actual recovery is your balance. Then what are these percentages? Can somebody tell? What are these percentages that we discussed? 50, 20 and 10. What are these?
It's on the depreciation.
Yes, it's the depreciation rate, right? In reducing balance method.
Yeah.
And no doubts on that point, right? Everybody clear?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Let's talk about gratuity now. Gratuity at the time of retirement, either somebody has
20, either 20 lakhs.
Okay.
Or if it is government employee, it's exempt. If they are under the Gratuity Act, then 15 by 26 into the number of years into the
salary.
Yes.
Salary. Monthly salary.
No. DA plus your basic salary.
Sorry?
Yes, DA
basic plus DA.
Basic
salary plus DA.
Perfect. Yeah. Yes.
So either this amount or 20 lakhs or the actual gratuity amount, whichever is lower. And if they are not under the Gratuity Act, then 15 by 26 replaced by 1 by 2.
What you are calculating here, what is this? Is this the taxable value? Is this the exemption?
Exemption.
This is the exemption. Okay. Don't get confused at times. So you have to be clear. Often you will realize gratuity, when we are talking about, we already have a received amount. Obviously, whatever we will be calculating, that will be an exemption amount, which we will deduct from that received amount, and we will calculate the final value that will be taxable. Where, if you remember that other case where an asset was given to that employee, in that case, we don't know how much value they have given really. So we are calculating the value that has to be taxable. So there is no exemption at all. We are calculating the value that will be taxable in the first place. Okay, last but not the least, but when we are doing that, I have a additional point to add here. That is leave encashment. Can you tell 3 points, the simpler ones, and leave the complicated one? I'm going to simplify that a little bit today because yesterday was too complicated and I didn't like it. I should have done that homework before that discussion only, but I didn't have much time. So just remind me of the first 3 smaller conditions for the leave encashment.
So it's 100% exempt. Sorry. Yes,
Okay.
Anvisha.
No, Sana, go ahead.
Okay. So 100% exempt for government employees.
Perfect.
Then for non-government employees, it's 3 lakhs. The next one is 10 into the average salary. The third one was the actual leave encashment that is received.
Actual leave encashment received. Absolutely correct. Let me just show you the simplified version of it that I have created. It's something like this. So now you remember it like this. I'll also practice the same question and we'll go from there. So it is number of completed years into 30 or actual if less, whatever amount you calculated that, less credit already availed. I'll tell you what this amount is. Less credit already availed. Whatever amount you get after deducting that, you multiply salary per day. You multiply what? Salary per day. Then you find out the actual value that has to be exempted and you compare it with the rest of the 3 values. Again, repeating, number of completed years into 30 or actual if less, and the less you credit availed, less credit availed, the final value, resultant value multiplied by salary per day. Now let's apply this exactly how it is in our question, which was there in our question. I'll just remind you how our question was: leave encashment of 3,30,000 for 330 days, leave balance in his account. He was credited 30 days of leave for each completed year of service. Now, let me tell you, he has completed 30 years. Okay. He has completed 30 years. Now he has a leave balance of 330. He had 30 days of leave per year. Can somebody tell me how much of leave he has availed already during those 30 years? I'll ask that once more. He has completed 30 years. Yes, he is getting 30. Let me just write that down also. This is 30 years. 30 days of leave he is getting per year. Yes, 30 days per year. He is left with balance of 330 days. Balance days. Can you tell me?
Then
900 minus 330.
Absolutely
So,
correct.
330, yeah.
So 30
670.
into 30, you get the total minus
570.
330. That is your leave, balance already
availed.
availed. What was the term? Yeah, credit
Availed.
availed. I would say credit availed. I'd use that terminology. Okay. So that will be familiar with it. So credit availed is 570. So that's how you get the 570. Always follow this. It's exactly same as what we had discussed yesterday, but this is very simplified. Otherwise, it gets a little complicated only. So how we will calculate is this. Let's go through the formula once more. Number of years are completed. Let's calculate that. Number of years are completed is 30. Second one is into 30 or actual if less. Actual is 30 only. So yes, please.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
I have a doubt with respect to gratuity. Okay, can I ask or?
No, let's finish this up. Then we'll go to
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll take it up. So the second one is 30 or actual if less. Here the actual is 30 also. So let's take 30. Multiply these 2 values as per the formula that we have. That is 900. Second one says less credit availed. We just calculated credit availed as 570. Yes. Now it comes to 900 minus 570. That comes to 330. Then it says salary per day. Salary is for us how much? 20,000, right? 20,000. So sorry, no, so for my bad.
with DNS allowance.
DA, one second. Where did that go? Okay. No. So what do you call it? So DNS allowance will not be included if you remember in this question, because for this it was like if it is a part of the salary for retirement benefits, then only you will be including DA, otherwise you will not. And we are assuming that it is not part of the salary. Okay. So we will be doing it is equal to 20,000 divided by 30. That is the per day amount. Yes. Now what I'll do is I'll simply multiply the 330 with this value. That becomes 2,20,000. Right? Same thing we calculated yesterday also, if you remember. This one, 2,20,000. But what happens is this formula simplifies the whole scenario, and it helps us to remember, and also it applies to all the types of questions. Anything happens, everything will be covered in this particular calculation that we did. Okay, so let me just remind you one more time. The calculations are, so we are discussing leave encashment. Leave encashment, government employee fully exempt, non-government employee we are talking about. There are 4 conditions. Number 1 is 3 lakhs. Number 2 is 10 into average salary. Number 3 is actual leave encashment received. Number 4 is number of completed years into 30 or actual if less credit availed into salary per day. That's simple. Any doubts, please, in this? We'll move to gratuity after this. In this, please, any doubts?
So 3 lakhs is something maximum, right?
Yes,
if
yes,
he is
yes.
serving for 20
They call
years
it,
also, or 30?
yes. They call it statutory limit. No matter
Like
how much of variable factors are increasing, and because of it other values are increasing, your exemption will never exceed 3 lakhs because you have a statutory limit of 3 lakhs in this particular exemption. Yes.
Similarly for gratuity, 20 lakhs maximum.
Yes, same thing for gratuity is 20 lakhs. You are right.
It can't be beyond 20 lakhs. It will be
You will
always
never,
less than, or it
exemption
could,
you can never avail more than 20 lakhs in gratuity. Absolutely correct. If no
I have
doubts,
a question.
please.
Yeah. So for this question, they have already given us the leave balance, right? 330.
Yes.
So why do we calculate all those? Those steps are not required for this question, right? Directly we can take 30 and then.
Absolutely. But I'll give you an example, one more example. Okay. Just look at this. Suppose your leave encashment, suppose in a company, your number of days allowed is 40 days. You have worked for 20 years. Okay. 40 days and 20 years. Now, you have a leave credit balance of, how much? 120 only. Okay. This is the balance leave that you have. Now, from this, you calculate the credit availed already.
That is 800 minus 120.
800 minus 120. Absolutely correct. So this into this minus 120. Yes, this becomes 680.
Yeah.
Right? Now, let's go for our calculation. Calculation says number of completed years, that is 20 in our case. Second is 30 or actual if less. Actual is 40 days. We will take 30 only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When we take 30, it becomes 600.
Yeah.
Now, if you deduct 680, actually no balance is remaining. So we will not be getting any exemption in the first place.
Right.
So we cannot look at the 330 by itself. So always go by the condition. Okay. Just because it was actually 30 days in that particular scenario already, that's why that as you said, you are absolutely right. Without doing that calculation, if you would have taken 330 also, you would have got the answer. But don't confuse yourself. Always go by this formula so that you don't have to do all of that calculation in your head. So go by this calculation, and it will be very easy to take a call on. Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Any other doubts, please? Okay. Sami, what were you asking about the gratuity?
Yeah.
Was that
so gratuity?
Okay,
no, gratuity, like minimum like 5 years should be there, right? For both government employees or even private sector employees, right? Minimum 5 years should be there, like to get the gratuity. Otherwise, gratuity will be nil.
Yes, that is covered in the Gratuity Act only. Yes. I mean,
correct.
What is the doubt in that? Yeah.
Okay, in a question, if it has been said like the employee has served only for 4 years in private organization, so the gratuity amount has been given, just to make a confusion for the students. So by mistake, if we take the gratuity amount, because he has not served for 5 years, he has just served for 4 years. Gratuity is enabled only after 5 years, completion of 5, right? So in this case, we can ignore the gratuity amount, right?
No, you can't ignore. No, you can't ignore. We can't ignore. I'm telling you, we can't ignore. Reason is, I'll tell you, if the question saying he has received the gratuity amount, then he has received, no.
How? He has not completed 5 years, right? How can he receive the gratuity amount?
It's an alternate universe. That's only in the question. It's not a question from Gratuity Act. It's a question from Income Tax Act. That is completely separate, right?
Okay.
Right. We are not giving an exam in Gratuity Act, right?
Got it.
So
Okay, he might be got the gratuity from the previous organization in the same financial year.
no, that also is a plausible thing. Also, it is a future question. You don't know what will be the limit next year. You don't know what will be the limit next to next year, isn't it? You think about it, there can be so many scenarios in which that can be plausible. There is an alternate universe in which the limit is 4 lakhs. There is an alternate universe, the limit is 3 lakhs. The question is from that alternate universe. And who are we to question it? It's not a question from Gratuity Act of, the one that we know, right? So yeah, let's not go there. Whatever the question is, let's think from whatever provisions that we are reading already. This is why I was saying, whatever knowledge we already have, keep it off, because otherwise it will confuse us. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, doubts?
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
There is one more doubt.
Please.
Yeah. So this salary per day, when we are calculating, we have to take divided by 30, is it?
Divided by 30 always, not 30.
Not 30.
Always 30. Yes.
Just considering that it should be 30.
Yes. That's a standard thing. So yeah, no logic to it.
Okay.
Again and again, same thing I'm repeating, that income tax, no, it's a law. They make it and we follow it. There is sometimes it will feel like there is no logic to what we are doing, but either way, that's a written language which is being authorized by our constitution, so we have to follow. There is no other way. All right, let's move on to a new provision, that is commuted pension. What is commuted pension? Does anybody have any idea about this? If have, then please. Otherwise, I'll explain, because there is a reason that this name might be new for few of us.
Is it advanced pension, Dheeraj? Commuted means advanced pension?
Yes, it can be advanced pension. It can be advanced pension. It has another meaning also, some other another scenario, but you can say that advanced pension. You can say that
kind of like we used to take a 1 month salary in advance, right? Later on.
No, not that.
We have some provisions.
Definitely not that. Definitely not that. Not that. No.
Yeah.
Then
I got it. Like no. I'm saying like we have that kind of facilities in few organizations, right?
Correct.
We can ask for an 1 month advance salary or 2 months of advance salary.
Correct.
Similarly, this is like related to pension, not with the salary, because pension is a different account totally, like which is like which is part of EPS. And, right. Okay.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Anybody else? Any idea about the commuted pension? Okay, no problem. So what happens is when the pension is available to any employee, for that matter, when they leave the organization, when they take the retirement, they have the option of either going for the normal way of getting the pension, which is like monthly this much of amount, or they can commute it and receive as a bulk. So suppose I have a pension of 20,000 per month, 20,000 per month, I'll be probably receiving, as per my company provision or the fund in which I'm investing, I'll be receiving for 20 years. So I will say, you know what, that comes to somewhere around 40 lakhs. Sorry, that comes to 4 lakhs. That's 4 lakhs, right? Sorry, my bad. Per month, I'm saying that comes to 12 into 20. And I'll do one thing. 50% of it, let me receive now, because I have a marriage. I have a marriage of my daughter, or admission of my son, or so on and so forth, whatever it is. Let me bring out 24 lakhs now, and let me receive 10,000 per month here on onwards. If we do that, that option is available to everybody. If we do that, then this 24 lakh is called commuting a pension. Okay, so accumulating a pension or receiving pension in bulk. Any doubt in the concept, please? Okay.
So
now,
is it this option is there for every pension plan? There's like 60% we have to withdraw lump sum amount, and 40% will be annuity amount, like which we need to declare, which will be like paid on monthly basis. The 40% like
not necessarily 60-40. 60-40 is just an example, right? Anything can be. Anything can be.
So 60% is our commuted amount. Let's say 60-40. So 60% is a commuted pension.
Commuted,
right?
yes.
It is lump sum amount we are going
correct. Absolutely correct. Yes. So if we do that now, Normally with pension, let me tell you, pension is nothing but a salary only. So for anybody, be it a government employee, be it a non-government employee, pension is always taxable. Okay. Let's talk about the commuted part, because commuted part is a big amount, right? So for anybody, that big amount will attract a lot of tax, which is why you have this exemption. So whenever employee, be it a government employee, be it a non-government employee, is commuting his pension, he's given this facility. Before we go there, okay, let me discuss a small calculation. That calculation is something like this. Suppose I tell you that, you know what, I commuted 1/3 of my pension. I commuted 1/3 of my pension and it came to 9 lakhs. What I said is, I commuted 1/3 of my pension, it came to 9 lakhs. What do you think is my total commission?
27
1/3
lakhs.
multiplied by 9 lakhs. Yeah, that's correct. I'm not sure what.
The amount is correct, but the calculation that you said, Sami, was incorrect. You said 1/3 multiplied by 9 lakhs. That is not incorrect. The
No,
calculation
3
should be
multiplied by 9 lakhs.
3 multiplied by 9 is correct. So what is that exactly? 9 lakhs divided by 1/3, right?
Correct.
The mathematical calculation is that one. So in order to calculate the total pension, you just divide that portion from that value. Why is it necessary? I'll tell you in a bit. This is clear to everybody? Any doubts in this calculation, small calculation? Okay, let's go to the provisions. Provision very clearly says commuted pension for government employee fully exempt. They don't have to pay a single penny on it. Okay, non-government employee, we have some calculation for the exemptions. So here there are two conditions. If the employee is receiving gratuity, if the employee is not receiving gratuity. In case the employee is receiving gratuity, 1/3 of the commuted pension, which he would have received had he commuted the whole pension. What did I say? If he is receiving the gratuity, 1/3 of the commuted pension, which he would have received had he commuted the whole pension. What is this? I'll simplify it in a bit. So exemption value is, so first of all, receiving gratuity, and I would say 1/3 into commuted pension, okay, divided by portion commuted. What did I say? If he is receiving gratuity, the exemption is what? 1/3 into commuted pension divided by portion commuted. Pension I wrote. So suppose I'll give you an example. Okay, I have commuted 1/4 of my pension. I have commuted 1/4 of my pension. I have received suppose 5 lakhs. Can you do this calculation and tell me how much should be the exemption value?
1/3 of 20 lakhs.
1/3 of 20 lakhs. Absolutely correct. That comes to 6,66,000, something like that, I think. Yeah. 6,66,667. Does everybody get it? So if I do the calculation, this will be something like this: 1/3 into commuted pension is 5 lakhs into, sorry, divided by the portion that I have commuted, that is 1 divided by 4. This is exactly what we did a little bit earlier. So what we are doing, we are calculating the total pension that we would have received. We are just simply multiplying 1/3 with that. In order to calculate the total pension, this is the way. You take the whatever you are receiving divided by the portion that you are receiving. Any doubts, please? Okay. So as we discussed, for non-government employee, if he is receiving the gratuity, the calculation is 1/3 into commuted pension divided by portion commuted. Exactly similar way. If the employee is not receiving gratuity, then the 1/3 is replaced with 1/2. That's all. 1/2 into commuted pension divided by portion commuted. Any doubts, please?
Dheeraj,
So we can just say 1/3 of the total pension and half of the total pension.
You can say that. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. 1/3 of total. Yes, please, sir.
You said like in the first section, 1/3 of the total pension, right? So which came around 6,66,000 something.
Correct.
So that is like taxable amount, or is it exempted from?
That is the exemption amount. Here is the exemption amount, because you already know how much you have received, right? So this is the exemption amount.
Exemption means there is no tax on that amount.
You will be deducting that from the actual amount received, so that you can calculate the taxable value.
Actually, okay, got it. Means when I'm calculating the total income, right? So I have to add this to total income.
Add this as in which one you are referring as this?
Means let's assume if a person is getting salary something like 10 lakhs, the total amount, and he's getting like interest from bank, let's assume like 10,000, which is like deducted, okay, and plus this 6,67,000. So this will equal to total income.
No, you are incorrect. Let's go to the question. It will get more clarified to you. Okay, you will be clarified just by doing the question. If no other question, then let's move on to the question that I have an example. Any questions other than this that Sami asked? Okay. The question reads, an amount of 3 lakh as commutation of pension for 2/3 of his pension commutation. He has received an amount of 3 lakhs as commutation of pension for 2/3 of his pension commutation. You tell me how much is the exemption value. Again, he is a private employee, as we had discussed yesterday only.
3/2 of 3 lakhs. So that is 9 lakhs by 2 for 4,50,000.
No, he is covered under the gratuity act. You can see that, right? He is covered under the gratuity act.
Okay. So yeah, for 1/3 of 4,50,000, then 1,50,000.
1,50,000. Let me see very quickly. No, 1 lakh. 1,50,000 is the correct answer. Yes, perfect. Yeah. Did everybody get it? Anybody? Any doubts?
Yeah, here it's mentioned 2/3 of his pension commutation, right?
Correct.
So as the gratuity has been involved, so this is to make confuse students, right? 2/3.
No, not to confuse. No. This has a relevance.
Yeah.
How will you calculate? Sami, remind me what was the formula, please.
If gratuity is there, then it should be like 1/3 of the commutation amount, means which is like.
Don't remember like that. No. That's why I expanded the formula. What was the exact formula? It was 1/3 into commuted pension divided by portion commuted. Yes.
Okay, the portion commuted is 2/3. Okay.
Portion commuted is 2/3. That's why I did that. So you will be calculating like this. Okay. So 1/3 into the pension amount is 3 lakhs divided by 2/3. Okay. So this will come to your 1,50,000. Okay. Everybody, is everybody clear on that?
Yes, Dheeraj.
Yes, Dheeraj.
Perfect. Let's revise the provision once more. Can somebody do it for me? The whole thing.
For this commutation pension, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if gratuity is being received by an employee, only for a private employee, for government employees, it's like 100% exempted. So if employee is like private employee, if he's receiving gratuity, then the formula for the calculation is 1/3 of commuted amount divided by commuted portion. Okay. And if the private employee is not receiving the gratuity, then it is 1/2 multiplied by commuted amount of the pension divided by commuted portion.
Perfect. Sunny, can you remind us what was the provision for leave encashment, please?
Leave encashment. Sorry, I'm not able to recall it.
Try to remember some values at least. There were 4 items, if you remember. What was we were discussing when we were discussing? What was the
Yeah, 3
statutory
lakhs.
limit for
Okay,
it?
3 lakhs
Perfect.
is the maximum limit.
One gone. Okay, only
and,
3 left. One gone, only 3 left. Yeah,
okay.
go ahead, please.
Another
one which is
second,
always
third.
common in every provision. Another one which is always common in every provision, that is actual amount received, right?
Okay, yeah, second
Actual
and third I'm not able
encashment
to recall.
received. That is always there. Sorry, come again.
The second and third, there was something like the second and third, like one is actual and another was something I'm not able to recall. Fourth one is that calculation, like with that formula, we need to get it.
Anybody else? Can you remind us, please?
It's 3 lakhs.
Average salary. Yeah, actual amount received, and Sama, you can go on with the 4th one.
No problem.
So not the complicated one, but the one that Dheeraj has taught today. So that was number of completed years into 30, or actual if less,
Yes.
minus the credit
Yes.
that has been availed already into the
Perfect.
salary per day.
Perfect. That is absolutely perfect. And what we are doing with for these 4 values that we got?
We are going for whichever is lower.
Lowest.
Lower, and that is the exemption value, right? Yes.
Exemption one, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sami, want to try once?
No, Dheeraj. Night times, like my mind will not be working so fast.
No problem. No problem. It's okay. It's okay. As far as you are comfortable, they will go for it. Not a problem. Okay, not a problem. Can somebody please
My
remind
mind
me?
work fast.
Yes,
I
yes.
woke up at 4 a.m. So
Okay,
night
okay.
time,
I know. It's okay. Can somebody please remind me of the provision for unfurnished accommodation, please?
For population greater than 25 lakhs, it is 15%. For 10 to 25 lakhs, it's 10%. And for lower than 10 lakhs, it is 7.5%. And if it has been rented, then 15% of the rented amount, or I forgot the other one, and out of that, whichever is lower.
You said this one
15% of
incorrectly.
the salary, or
Yes.
or the rented amount, whichever is lower.
Perfect. That's absolutely correct.
And Dheeraj, this is the taxable value, right?
This is the taxable value. Yes, absolutely correct. Now, please revise the commutation of pension, please. Once more, one last time. What is the provision for pension commutation?
Government employees completely exempt.
Perfect.
For employees under Gratuity Act, it is 1/3 of the total pension. Can I remember by total pension, or
If you are comfortable with that division,
commuted
no,
pension?
please go for it. Yes.
Okay, then commuted amount divided by the portion commuted.
Perfect. And the other category?
And for non-Gratuity Act employees, it is 1/2 of the commuted amount.
Just 1/3 is
divided by
replaced by
portion.
half. As long as you're remembering that, that will be fine. Yes. And if no questions, I'll go to the next provision.
yes,
Next
please.
one. Next one, we have a simple one, that is gift. Okay. So gift says violation of package with respect to gifts. The violation of the gift or voucher or taken delay of the gift received on occasion of otherwise shall be actual amount of such gift. However, if the aggregate value of such gifts is below 5,000 during the previous year, then the value of the package shall be nil. If the aggregate value of the gift is 5,000 or more, entire amount is taxable. So basically, the employer is giving some gift to the employee. If the value, right, 1 second. Okay.
So this provision is related to employee and employer relationship, right? It's nothing.
Everything that we are discussing right now is relevant to employer because we are under the head income from salary, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. If the
No, like,
value is less than
if
5,000,
relative is giving the gift, that won't be considered, right? Income from
income from salary, it doesn't come under income from salary. There is a separate provision under income from other sources
other.
that is going to cover
Got
that. Okay, we're going to discuss that when we are under
Hmm.
that head. If the value is less than 5,000, then fully exempt. If the value is more than or equal to 5,000, important, if equal to also, this is falling under this one, then our whatever value minus 5,000 will be taxable. Any questions?